Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another Expanse reaction video. Today I'm going to be watching, reviewing, and reacting to Season 5, Episode 3. Alright, so we left off at the end with Amos still on Earth saying that he was going to need to visit someone else and calling in that favor from Avasarala to do so. I had speculated that might be Clarissa, which would be interesting. Meanwhile, we finally got to see some of Drummer. Alex and Bobby are off on their own quest on Mars, and Holden, back on Tycho, is dealing with someone having kidnapped Monica, put her in a shipping crate, and almost killed her after Monica was asking questions about the protomolecule. So, something going on there as well. And we're all dispersed all across the solar system. So I'm interested to see where we're going to go from here. I really liked all of Amos's backstory in the last episode. But yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into episode 3. Here we go.
Higher return signatures on one side of those fragments could imply that the original rock was coated in stealth tech.
My spy was convinced
Smart.
that Martian stealth composites had been sold to Belters. Marco Inaris threw a stealth rock at us.
And it broke up. We got lucky.
You think he stopped at one? We need to retask the watchtowers.
Are you out of your fucking mind, man?
They're the only thing that can penetrate stealth tech.
Which is why they're always pointed at Mars.
Mars does not give a fuck about blowing us up anymore. You need to make the case to the Director of Intelligence.
He'll tell me I'm playing Chicken Little if he takes my call at all. And if the SG gets wind of it.
I have burned all the bridges in front of me. And I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, this is a little more important.
Right. And you know it.
That was fire control for Ashford's stolen Martian PDCs. He had the best guns in the boat. It looks like they took the data cores and the comm buffers.
Boss Bang, I'm in reactor room. It is intact, but fuel pellet all gone. Main water tank empty, but the air scrubber gone too.
Transfer of all water and fuel reserves from DeWalt to Motang. Then patch hull and repressurize. When power is restored, search a ship for backup data cores. Ashford will have those hidden somewhere.
She's bringing it back?
Waste a good salvage like this. He left it as a message. Come after me, and you die.
This was
Okay, so we knew she was gonna be upset. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. You could hear echoing in her head the conversation that she had had where she decided to let Marco live, thinking about, you know, maybe if I hadn't done that, Ashford would still be here. But then it seems like she's bringing over things from her other 2 little ships to try and get this ship going. So she wants to take Ashford's ship with her. So she specifically said they left it here. They just stripped it, but they left it here and didn't keep it, even though it's a great ship, as a message. Basically, this is what happens to anyone that comes after me. But then she's going to get that ship back up and get it running again and go after him. So, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love Drummer.
The weather for the Ingers.
Let me buy you both around.
That don't you think we were, okay?
How about you buying us on J Browns? Fine.
Oh,
And Naomi, I remember, would never have gotten shakedown like that.
Probably because you were always around.
aw. I know this guy. I like this actor.
Seats just open up, huh?
He was in The Killing and Deadwood.
3 vodkas.
What the fuck you doing here?
Personal business.
Oh shit. You work for Fred Johnson and the Illers.
Easy.
All of a sudden, Naomi Negata come back to Palace? No. We're here for bounty on Marco.
If I wanted to put you in jail, you'd be there already.
Got my money back.
I got the best shifts.
She doesn't look as happy about Naomi being there as he does.
I know Philip's here.
Here it comes.
I came to see him.
What a fucking chance.
You don't speak for him.
He don't want to speak to you. He don't want you in his life.
I'll believe that when he tells me to my face.
Why now? After so long.
The price on Marco's head is going to get him killed. I don't want that to happen to any of you.
Philippe's not a little boy anymore.
I'm still his mother.
You left him and us.
You have to tell Philip I'm here and that I need to see him. I have the right.
You have nothing.
You do know, Marco, that throwing rocks at Tycho Aceres will do little to harm the enemies.
I agree. The only real victims that would be Belters. Those days are over now. You still don't see it.
Don't see what?
Can't even imagine it. This has always been a problem for our kind. Even our dreams are small. Die in darkness, but not now.
The execution dark and come till he go to the execution.
Ooh. Okay, she's pissed. She's pissed.
Good work, everyone. Well done. When the Titan is fully operational, we will put into Hygeia for resupply. And then we will find Marco Naros and collect a $20 million bounty on his head.
I knew it. So, like I said, I had a strong feeling that she was going to want to go after Marco for what he did to Ashford, and her actually listening to his execution really just solidified that as a certainty. But I do think it's interesting. She's in a strange position, and obviously she's going to be going into something where she's not aware of everything that's going on with him, or what he might have at his disposal. But so she's telling her crew, trying to convince them that it's a monetary choice and about positioning in the belt, which I guess in some respects there probably is part of it, but this is a lot of it just has to do with wanting revenge for what he did for Ashford, and probably having to do with her own, again, guilt, feeling a sense of responsibility for him still being out there. I do think it's interesting, though, they also had on the message, the recording of what he talked about with Marco, you know, there was hints in there of that he has this big plan having to do with the asteroids, but she kind of just like brushed over that. I wonder if she's going to do anything about that at all, because she does have this information that could potentially suggest he's trying to do something really harmful to the inner planets. But Drummer doesn't really care about the inner planets, and she has some hostility, some serious negativity towards them as well, so I don't know. I think she might just maybe just let that go, ignore that altogether, and just focus on finding Marco for her own personal reasons, so either way, I'm excited.
What do you want to know about Admiral Solitaire?
Just if he's really selling weapons to the Belters.
Oh, shit.
You been talking to anyone else about this, sweetheart?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
A friend, just a friend.
Bobby's just like, took care of that.
And they just jumped me. They just pushed me through the doorways.
Left to hunt Marco. He asked me to be his exo. I declined. I gave him this bottle as a send-off, but he told me to hold on to it. He said we'd drink it together when he returned.
If you'd have gone with Ashford, you would have suffered the same fate.
Or maybe this bottle would be empty.
Why should I listen to you?
I don't know. I just hoped you would. And I needed to try.
You left and discarded me like a piece of trash.
I abandoned you. And I'm sorry. But I loved you more than I ever thought I could love anyone.
Then why did you leave?
I'll never forgive myself for making the choice that I did. It was never about you. Before you get hurt, the ship that I came in on, I bought it for you. I'm giving it to you. Take it and go wherever you want, and when you get there, I will send you all the money that you need, but please, just take it.
Fuck you.
I know what you're going through. I know this sounds crazy.
You don't know shit. I don't need you.
Just trying to protect you.
Everything my father told me about you is true. Sorry. Stop.
Shit.
Secure her for flight. She's coming with us.
Boss, she can't go.
Do it.
Oh, shit. Oh, his face! This was episode 3, and she got the information, some sort of evidence she could actually use to bring to Gao and support her theory, but it was too late. It was too late. It's frustrating because you know that no one is listening to Avasarala, largely because of poor feelings from the past and political disagreements, and she, you know, was trying to warn them. She knew it was Marco. She knew that Marco was threatening Earth with rocks that he was throwing at it. She had pieced all of this together just from little things that she was finding out, and nothing. No one would listen to her and just completely shut her out, so... And now one has come to Earth. So that's quite a cliffhanger place to leave off on, but... You know, I was gonna say, before we got to that ending, that it seemed like this was another really, like, a builder episode, leading into what's gonna be the major sort of focus of the season, and now we see the ending. I think that's clearly the case. So now Earth has been attacked. A asteroid that Marco threw has successfully hit Earth, and that's gonna be the big thing. That's gonna be the central conflict. So we have that happen. We have Alex and Bobby are about to go and try to do reconnaissance in the Razorback. On Tycho, they're trying to set a trap for the people that were trying to hurt Monica. And then Naomi has now been taken by her son and his crew, presumably to go meet up with Marco. And then Drummer. All right, so yes, so a lot of this was, again, a building episode to put them in the places of where I guess they need to be in the lead into Earth actually being in crisis and being attacked. So a lot of this episode focused around Drummer, which was great. I love her. But it was interesting. You know, she did send the message on to Fred, but other than that, she kind of just said, I'm gonna be done with it. You know, I had wondered whether she'd be interested in passing along information that could potentially be used to help the Inners in any way, shape, or form, because again, she's someone who really is not that concerned with supporting the Inners or even with a positive relationship. She specifically, you know, left Fred, walked away from that sort of thing to try and make it on her own, and she's always been very pro Belter, you know, a kind of, I mean, you don't want to say nationalism isn't exactly right, but that kind of feeling. But she did end up passing it on, not really because of her concern about that, but just saying maybe this can help the belt in some way. And then Fred passes it on to Avasarala because of the agreements that the two of them have had in sharing information. But, like I said, again, too late. So Drummer's in this position now. I still feel like she's going to eventually want to go after Marco. She finds out that her fears were confirmed, that Ashford is dead. Marco is the one that is responsible. He specifically, you know, he executed him, and then he stripped his ship and left him there as a warning. She wants to get his ship back up and going. She wants to, you know, probably because partially just they said that it's a good ship, but also he left it as a symbol, and then her rebuilding it could be, and using it could be a symbol as well. And she wants to go because she wants revenge for Ashford being murdered, but also, again, as I've mentioned a few times, I'm sure she feels a lot of guilt that this wouldn't have happened to Ashford. Not only if she hadn't, you know, let Marco go, she had her reasons, good reasons for doing so, but if she hadn't let him go, obviously none of this would have occurred. And then, of course, we also heard her saying that she feels like maybe if she had gone with Ashford instead of rejecting his proposal, his offer for her to be the XO, that maybe she could have done something different and maybe they would have beaten Ashford. And, I mean, that's probably not the case. She probably just would have died too, but you never know. So she has a lot of guilt about this, and so she wants to go after Marco. And she uses the justification that, well, there's this huge bounty on his head, right? So we can go and get him, we can earn all this money, and then also earn all this respect among the factions in the belt for doing this. But obviously, you know, her people, they kind of see through her, and they're also afraid. And I mean, I think it's reasonable for them to be afraid, not want to go after someone who they said successfully defeated Ashford, but also is really known, I guess, to be a dangerous terroristic figure. So it seems like for the moment that she's been talked out of it, and she even says to Fred, you know, this is not my fight, but she didn't drink it. She didn't drink it, so that to me says that she's still kind of holding out, waiting, thinking that I still want to go after Marco, and at some point maybe she will end up doing so, even though she's kind of been drawn back away from it for now. But I just can't imagine Drummer being able to let it go. It was nice, though, seeing so much with her, and we got to see her more vulnerable side as she's grieving and connecting with the people that she's with on the ship. You know, the woman that she's with mentioned, you haven't had family in a long time, so Ashford maybe kind of, and Naomi are some of the only people she's had, like, close ties with. Obviously Fred in the past. And now she's actually like the captain of now I guess a group of ships, and they're like a little family together is what her, I guess, girlfriend was trying to say. and you can be vulnerable. So she's trying to let that side of her come out, but also, you know, I still, like I said, I can't believe that Drummer's just gonna let that go. Ultimately, she does not seem like the kind of person that could just let that go. So then we also had this episode, Alex not doing a good job of getting information while containing information of his own, resisting giving information of his own, but he definitely seemed like he was getting a bit played there, though of course he figured it out at the end, at least to some degree. He figured out that she wasn't interested in him once she stopped pulling back on the flirtiness, once she got the information she was looking for. And as soon as he asked any sort of question about Sauveterre, I believe is his name, then she's just backed out of there as soon as possible. And of course, then she sends these assassins basically after him to try and kill him, find out first what he wanted, and then try and kill him. And then presumably they would have tried to go after Bobby too, since he mentioned he was working with her. But thankfully, Bobby is not easily dispatched, so she was able to come in and stop that. But now we do know for certain. Like, we are certain that Sauveterre and then her also in conjunction are involved in all of this. So Alex's fears are confirmed, and now he and Bobby are going out there and tailing a military ship in a unarmed small ship, but it is fast, I guess Bobby said, so still putting themselves in a dangerous situation. Amos is on Earth, which just was hit, so we don't know where on Earth was hit, what the consequence of that is going to be. I also don't really like that they just showed Avasarala trying to send a message to Arjun right before that, because that to me leaves me worried that maybe something's going to happen to him or her family and she won't get a chance to talk to him. And then, of course, the other big thing of this episode was Naomi not just meeting up with, like, apparently some of her old crew, old friends, and the one guy who, he's a good actor. He was happy to see her, but then, of course, the woman that he was with, not so much. But not just meeting up with them, but seeing Philip for the first time since he was a little child, whenever it was that she had left. And, of course, that doesn't really go well right off the bat. You know, I understand she had this need, this instinct to try and say, maybe if I give him a ship, if I tell him that I can provide for him everything he could want or need, you know, maybe he'll at least want to go off on his own, even if he doesn't forgive me. I just want to get him away from Marco so he can be safe. But we've already seen, you know, at the end of last season, he was there with Ashford when Ashford was killed. And then at the beginning of this season, he was actively involved in killing all those people to try to cover up what they were doing with the asteroids. He's clearly fully on board with the Marco, you know, plan, ideology. He's embraced it. And he also has obviously been telling him things his whole life about Naomi and about her leaving them and abandoning him. So he's not going to just quickly kind of trust her coming in and take her ship or do anything to get away from his father. So that just wasn't going to happen. But, I mean, she tried. Like I said, can't blame her for that. But then I just do find it interesting at the end. So he decides, I guess, even though he's not going to do what Naomi wants, the ship is worth taking anyway. So they're going to come and try and take the ship. That's what they do. But I just find it interesting that it clearly seems that they were not intending or planning on doing anything other than pushing Naomi out of the ship and then taking off with it so they could use the ship for Marco's cause or whatever purpose. But Philip is like, no, keep her here. I'm taking her back. And I'm really curious, you know, is it just that he wants to keep her around? Now he's got an opportunity. You know, he has just against his I guess, what Marco would want. He kind of wants to keep his mother around for some reason, maybe want to get to know her more. Or was this something that Marco had told him to do to try to get Naomi? But that doesn't really make sense, because they didn't know that she was coming. So, right. So if he didn't know that she was coming, then Marco wouldn't be like, why would he say no? So Marco won't know. So Marco is going to be like, why'd you bring your mother here? And that's going to be really interesting because obviously he's going to have some negative feelings toward her as well after she left him. And they clearly have very different ideas. So I'm very curious to see what that moment is going to be like, and also how he's going to react to Philip bringing her. And also just, again, Philip's reasons. I'm really curious. So next episode, I'm assuming we're going to see the aftermath of what happened on Earth. Keeping my fingers crossed for Avasarala's family. Like, I'm positive that Amos is not going to die at this point, anyway, in the story. So he didn't just get suddenly killed by an asteroid. He's going to be just probably will have to deal with the aftermath of being there when that has happened, and you know, the fallout on an attacked Earth. But I don't know. I'm worried about Avasarala's family, especially Arjun. So, but all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up here. So thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.